final stop on our summer adventure was Prague. The train from Vienna was so enjoyable and relaxing, and we would soon discover that Prague is a city we could definitely see returning to someday. Our flat was an easy walk from the train station, and as soon as we dropped off our luggage and got settled in a bit, we set out to explore. We decided to look for a restaurant recommended by Prague native Yannick of the Honest Guide YouTube channel. We found it, and Středačka did not disappoint. After dinner, we wandered into the picturesque town square for a first look at this famous site. The next morning, we just walked without a specific plan and explored this beautiful city. The architecture and pedestrian-friendly streets and passageways were so inviting, and the pace and vibe of the city felt relaxed and friendly. In the afternoon, we decided to take a tram across the river and climb the many steps up to Letna Park. The view from the top was stunning, the sky a perfect mix of sun and clouds. We made our way back to the old town where we planned our evening tram route up to Prague Castle. Honest Guide Yannick also provided the great tip of going to the castle grounds in the evening when there are very few tourists, as long as you're content to just walk around and not do the tour, which during the summer can be quite crowded. That suited us fine, as we were beginning to run out of steam and preferred to just soak up the vibe and the views. After a little more exploring on foot, we had a gourmet burger dinner at the Black Dog, which was also very dog-friendly, before taking the tram up to Prague Castle. The evening sunlight made for a dramatic scene with St. Vitus Cathedral all aglow. If we were to come back to Prague sometime during the off-season, we would definitely take the tour, as there is, of course, a lot of rich history and many beautiful interiors to be seen. It gives us something to come back for. Seeing the stunning views of the city from the castle walls at sunset was a perfect way to end the day. After starting our last full day in Prague with a delicious breakfast out instead of our usual croissant and yogurt at our flat, we set out with 4 goals for the day. First goal, watch the astronomical clock strike the hour. Goal 2, sample some delicious Prague pastries. This bakery was amazing. You got to watch the bakers making these goodies and then sit down with a cup of coffee and try 1 or 2 or 3. Shout out again to Yannick of The Honest Guide for this recommendation. The whole experience was so fun and delicious. Between goals 2 and 3, we wandered into Newtown and came across a lovely fountain featuring 4 blindfolded statues dancing and playing instruments. It's called Dancing Fountain Czech Musicians. Each musician represents a major world river, the Ganges, Amazon, Danube, and Mississippi, with a 5th dancing statue nearby representing the awakening of the Nile. This bakery cafe was across the street from the fountain, so of course we had to go in. On the way to our 3rd goal of the day, we stepped in to see the unique Prague Central Post Office, which was declared a National Cultural Monument. The walls of the inner courtyard are painted with intricate botanical motifs, well worth a quick stop. And now we arrive at our 3rd goal, or mine at least, but I think Karl found it more enjoyable than he expected. Art exhibits aren't everyone's cup of tea, but I definitely could have spent a couple of hours more with Czech artist Alphonse Mucha's Art Nouveau. And last but not least of our goals for the day was to have dinner at a traditional Czech restaurant. The goulash and dumplings may not have looked terribly appetizing, but they were flavorful and nourishing after a very full and satisfying day. Our time in Prague was so enjoyable, but now it was time to board a double-decker Flixbus and head back to Munich to pick up Chloe and fly home together. We had one more beautiful afternoon in Munich, and Chloe took us to the Englischer Garten, a huge city park with the man-made Eisbach River running through it. The river is cold and has quite a current, and on this sunny, warm day, there were plenty of people with their floats getting in to cool off. It was a big transition for Chloe to say goodbye to Deutschland after spending 3 months there on her own, working as an intern at a nonprofit and studying German. But we were so happy to see her thriving and growing and still having fun with her weirdo parents. Before we knew it, we were back in the U.S., waiting in long summer lines at the airport before sending our girl back to Charleston. What a wonderful summer adventure for all of us.